When should you upgrade? Dan in Omaha, Nebraska wants to know, and he says, "Hey Paul, I was wondering, when is it normal to upgrade components? A lot of my stuff is from 2003, and I know they don't have an expiration date. I can see my receiver, a Yamaha RX V620, is in dire need since it doesn't have HDMI. I've made do with it though. But what about the speakers? I have a set of Infinity Interludes," which I'm not sure what the Infinity Interludes are. "They're clean and nice sounding, but when should they be upgraded? Some have newer drivers in it, replace them just because. They don't sound bad at all, but they are older. So what do you think?" Well, what do you got against older? Hey, I'm 71 years old. That's old. My speakers are 30-something years old. They were made in 1985, so I'm not that great at math, so you can figure that out from whatever year it is you're watching this. And though I had to replace the mid-range drivers, that was only because that particular driver, the eMIM, as it's called, it's an Infinity product, the electromagnetic induction mid-range, had little bars of neodymium magnet material in the front and in the back, and it basically is a powdered material compressed together and held in with strong adhesives and then covered with chrome. They chrome plated it and then made it black. I think it was black chrome. And that started peeling off. So that was just a manufacturing defect. So over the years, it started peeling off, and if a bit of that chrome got into the diaphragm, it would fry it, and those drivers are no longer made. So I had them all replaced at great expense and a real pain in the butt, but we did. And I'm really glad we did that. Generally speaking, other than the surrounds on woofers, which depending on what kind you get, can degrade over time, especially if you're in Asia, because of the high humidity and the pollution. You'll get the surrounds kind of eating themselves. In drier climates over here, it's not so bad, but very humid climates, places where there's a lot of pollution, you're going to get problems with the surround, but they're easy to have surrounds replaced, and then you're back in business. The magnets never degrade. I mean, so loudspeakers, if they sounded good and you've maintained them and you don't have any trouble with them, there's no reason to upgrade, unless, of course, you want better sound. Over time, technology produces better products, right? I mean, here we are designing in, what is this, 2019? We're designing a brand new speaker set, and we're using all the latest technology for those speakers. And I guarantee you those speakers are going to sound better than 30-year-old loudspeakers, okay? Not because they're 30 years old, but because we've been able to take modern technology, use modern techniques to improve the sound quality. But gosh, I mean, here's my 30-year-old speakers. I'm going to be hard-pressed, sorry, to ever get rid of these. It's not that they're just classics. It's that until I can find something, whether we make it or somebody else makes it, that can do what the Infinity IRS-5 does, I will never get rid of them. Not until I can better them. Stereophile editor John Atkinson came to visit us a few weeks ago, and he thinks these sound a little warmer than he would like for his taste. And and John's a very gentle, kind man, and I'm sure he likes whatever speakers he has a little bit better. But sitting in that seat, in the main listening chair, John, we put on through streaming services some of his own recordings. He had a couple of great stuff. John's a recording engineer as well, so he knows these recordings like the back of his hand. He made the recordings. He knows them intimately. So we put that on, and John sat here and listened to it, mesmerized for an hour. And he turned to me and he said something I found really interesting. He said, you know, these speakers are a revelation. Number one, I don't think I've ever heard another speaker that had what seemed like unlimited dynamic range. They just are effortless. It never gets compressed. It never changes its quality. And the biggest reveal that John said about this system and about these speakers, he said, as I get older, I keep hearing when things get, loud, or when things get complex, like the piece we were listening to had huge complex choirs of a cappella choirs of voices and things. And John said, I was worried that maybe that I'm starting to get some intermodulation distortion in my ears because things started getting, kind of grindy up there. And I listened to that recording here, gone, not there. So it's not my ears. It's other systems that I'm listening to. The reason I bring that up is I'm not trying to tout the grandeur of the Infinity IRS-5, but again, they are a 30-year-old loudspeaker, but they do something that few speakers in the world have ever been able to do, and that is their ability to get so big and so loud when the music demands it without any change whatsoever. No increase in distortion, no increase in compression. They just seem to go on forever. And they do that because they have 132 drivers in them, right? I mean, there's 24 mid-ranges, there's, good God, 72 tweeters, on and all these woofers. So they do that by sheer brute force. No driver is doing, a mid-range is doing, and that's a hell of a mid-range. Most Infinity speakers, probably the one that he has one EMIM if he's lucky. These have 12. How do they do? Well, they divide the sound up. So each driver is doing a 12th as much as the other driver. So they're loafing. So no wonder that this can get so loud. It can do all of that. My point is that just because it's old doesn't mean you need to upgrade. However, you should upgrade when you feel that you could do better, that by upgrading, there's a level that you have that you want to get up to here. And that's when you should decide to upgrade, because just because something's old is not a good reason to upgrade. I don't want to be upgraded, and I'm old. All right, enough babbling. I'll talk to you all tomorrow. Bye.